I'm not the type of person who enjoys studying, so I chose a course where there was minimal study. But as it turns out, architecture requires quite a lot of, knowledge. The course actually required a lot more study than what I expected. But why sales was more to do with employment. As an architect, there's not a lot of employment opportunities, especially in Australia. And at that time, my starting pay as an architect was $28,000. Obviously, this is around 26 years ago. And to go in sales, there was a uncapped amount on earnings. So that prompted me to go in sales rather architecture. I guess as a young age, I've always had interest in property developments, and joining the Summit Homes Group was able to provide me with the knowledge and skill base to work as a developer. So eventually one day, if I do not want to continue in my sales capacity, I can always branch out to do my own developments. I started as a sales or a development consultant. I gradually did also move up into a management role, but management just wasn't for me. And especially in 2008, when the property market collapsed or slowed, I guess the division needed more of a salesperson rather than a manager. I guess in my role, we need the knowledge base in construction, but the main job that I have to do is procure business. So the sales ability and also having knowledge, holistically, managing the project, designing, it is not just one skill set. It requires quite a number of skill sets, knowledge, and that also explains why in my industry, there's not a lot of entrants. We need an understanding of the planning framework. We need an understanding on the feasibility of project. We also need to understand how we can add value to a developer. Developers require someone with knowledge, but also developers require someone with a lot of skill sets and experience. Why a lot of the young people who enter cannot succeed is because a developer do not want to risk their project with an inexperienced person. I think you need to have the passion. You need passion. You need to understand that being an architect, it is 5 years of studies, plus a minimum, I think it's either 1 or 2 years before you can sit your exam and register as an architect. And then you have to look at, do I want to be a traditional architect and work in the office environment? Or do I want to branch out into project management, sales, procurement? Misconception is that I think that developers make a lot of money, builders make a lot of money. That is definitely not the case. Margins are low compared to the risk that a developer takes. Getting all the planning approval, building, a development could take 2, 3, 4 years, and the risk exposure in that time is great. You just imagine starting a project and then suddenly COVID comes, you don't even know whether or not you'll end up making a profit, or it could be 10 years of profit wiped out by one project. A lot of the time with young people where they've graduated from uni, they have a lot of academic knowledge, but they don't actually have the training skills, on-job training skills. A lot of them are not willing to maybe learn. Some of them tends to be a bit lazy, I guess. In any career, there will be ongoing learning and training, and you need to keep up that routine. You need to also be initiative, be creative. You need to look at what can you do to add value to the company, because if you can't add value to the company, you're not going to last long in that organization.
So the learning definitely doesn't stop after high school?
No, definitely not. For me, my understanding of the planning framework, my understanding of how a building is designed, constructed, for me, with all my knowledge combined, I can then advise clients, should I be building apartments? Should I be building townhouses? And how many should I be building? Maximizing development output doesn't mean maximizing profit. What you study doesn't mean it's going to be what you'll be doing. Just because you study commerce, or let's say I study architecture, doesn't mean you work as an architect. Especially now, looking at the future for a lot of the young, you'll get a degree, but there is a chance that you probably will change your career industry 3 or 4 times in your life. Study a course that you enjoy. I think a course like commerce, a course like law, it opens up to a lot of opportunities. Whereas there are certain courses which doesn't give you flexibility. Commerce and law, every company, you look at an organization that will need a lot of people with a commerce degree or legal degree. But architecture, for instance, with a building organization, even with the Summer Homes Group, you only probably need 3 or 4 people with an architecture degree.